us talk deep emotions here. It's important for people to understand where you come from. Obviously, you were born in West Papua, in actually quite a remote place, I believe, but your family suffered a great deal as the Indonesian military forces moved in. There was a lot of violence, and your family suffered from some of that. You yourself were educated in a school which was largely Indonesian, and I know that you claim that you suffered serial racist incidents at school. You then, as a young man, became an activist against Indonesian authority. They accuse you of leading a campaign of arson and violence. They put you on trial. Were you a young militant committed to violence?
Why I have to fight this injustice happening in West Papua? Because I myself become a witness. I grew up in the bush 5 years. My auntie was raped in front of my eye. My mom was beating up in front. I couldn't do anything as a young boy. And then at the time, I went to school, I studied, and people talking about discrimination. I myself facing discrimination in the school, even in the campus.
That answer was very telling in many ways and indeed moving, but you didn't answer my question. Were you, as a young man, and I dare say are you today, actually committed to violence because, according to your own version of events, so much violence has been perpetrated against your people that you seem to believe violence has to be part of your solution?
I committed since 2000. When I became a leader of the Koteka Tribal Assembly, I declared that the peaceful way is the only weapon we have.
We'll get to your political proposals in just a moment, but your description that all of the violence is in the past is not shared by the Indonesian government. The Jakarta's Coordinating Minister for Political, Legal and Security Affairs, Wiranto, said just the other day that I think Beni Wenda took part in the violent conspiracy that the Indonesians believe they saw last month when so many young people in different towns across West Papua attacked the security forces. Are you today conspiring against the Indonesian security forces?
So now my question to Wiranto, who is the start, provocate in Surabaya?
But with respect, Mr. Wenda, I need to ask questions, and I'd like simple answers to simple questions. Are you actively conspiring with armed young people in your territory, West Papua, today, to attack the Indonesian security forces?
No, I'm not advise my people to attack Indonesian security force. I maintain it peacefully as possible. That's why, like KNPB or Committee KNPB and United Liberation Movement, from the beginning when I'm led from zero, they maintain it peacefully, call a referendum.
But can you see why the Indonesian authorities would be very suspicious of you? After all, they charged you all those years ago when you were a man in your late 20s with arson and violence. You escaped before the trial could be completed. But even today, looking at what you say, there is reason to suspect you. For example, here's a statement from you, again, very recently in the wake of this violence. Politically and militarily, we are united, you said. The international community can see without doubt we are ready to take over our country. Indonesia cannot stigmatize us as separatists or criminals anymore. We are a legitimate, unified, military and political state in waiting. If I was an Indonesian minister, I would regard that as quite simply an invitation to your people to undertake an armed uprising.
No, I call my people because all those years Indonesia stigmatized this handful of people. They are criminal. They are stigmatized. It's sporadic. No, we are the legitimate. We are already engaged with the world, engaged with Indonesia. That's why you cannot stigmatize level. Those finished. That era is finished. Now time we want to tell the world that we are ready. So because we are responsible directly.
Militarily, you said.
No, militarily we are not engaged in the violence. Militarily, politically, we are ready to show that confidently. Not in the world need to trust us.
But if I may, the point is you claim to be the unified leader of the liberation movement for West Papua, but it patently isn't true. The other long-standing separatist organization, the OPM, doesn't recognize, it seems to me, your leadership. The OPM leader, Jeffrey Bomanak, said recently that his organization and its armed wing, the TPNPB, reject and deny the claims and political statements made about the merger by you. He doesn't accept your authority. And also it is clear that the TPNPB continues its armed struggle.
This is just a number of people and individual claim, but 50 years we never become united. But this is 50 years. Last 5 years, support by Vanuatu government. First time in our history we become united. We have 3 factions, political factions.
I mean, the fact is, Mr. Wenda, you're not united because one of the key factions that you claim to represent says that you don't represent them.
No, they are part of the United Liberation Movement. OPM is a name of organization. So every West Papua has OPM. But now the political organization, we are united under United Liberation Movement. I am a chair of the United Liberation Movement.
I think you're claiming that 500,000 of your fellow West Papuans have been killed by the Indonesian government, its security forces, since Jakarta took responsibility for West Papua in the 1960s.
Yes, 1963.
Where is your evidence for that figure of 500,000 dead?
We have a number of evidence coming out. The church's own investigation, Amnesty International also investigate the 500,000 were killed. That is, but that's why I always say to Indonesia government, if you claim there is no genocide, why the not allow journalists in the country? Even the BBC, even ABC, all the international journalists are totally banned.
So, if you are alleging, and it is only an allegation, and as you say, international journalists and human rights workers find it very difficult to work in West Papua, but if you are alleging, your word, a genocide, are you also saying that you believe armed struggle is entirely legitimate. Is that your position today?
We never use the armed struggle. We always maintain it peacefully because you cannot win this Asia-Pacific, the West Papua as a militarized zone. When we use the armed struggle, Indonesia can legitimate 10,000 of military. That's why under my leadership, I come out peacefully since 2000.